I'm curious to see how the stand-up plays out. So, simple. AJ Osbourne, he's faster. We know that, right? He's faster than Rodriguez. I think that he might be able to land a little bit more flushly than Rodriguez early out, but I think Rodriguez is a slow burn, right? Builds up, catches his reads, and once he catches that pace, he just doesn't leave you alone for 15 minutes. Like for 15 hard minutes, you will fight every second of that fight. Can Osbourne hold him off? And if he does hold him off, how long will he last?
That's where this fight gets tricky, Derek, because in the stand-up game, right, I think this is one of the more winnable fights for Ode Osbourne. But if he's able to if he gets taken down, if he can't get back up, if he can't avoid that distance closing, that slow burn you're talking about, this is a really hard fight for Ode, man. We've seen exactly talking like with all the submissions, we've seen Ode struggle in that aspect of the fight game. And it's only a matter of time till every single one of his opponents know that, and they don't just want to try and match speed for speed against Ode because he is that fast and hits that hard.
In my opinion, though, that's what I'm saying. I don't really see Rodriguez even wanting to take this to the fight voluntarily. I think he starts with just a pure stand-up approach, finds his reads, and just tries to land the big shots on him. It's hard because Rodriguez noticeably, like on tape, he's noticeably slower. He winds up noticeably more on his shot. So I think Osbourne is going to have the advantage in just a pure striking sense right there. But you're right. Once it gets ugly, I like Rodriguez much more than I like Osbourne in that one. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind right here, man, and I will never discredit somebody who has had this type of resume, but Asu Amabayev, Charles Johnson, Tyson Nam, CJ Vergara, Manel Kopp, Jerome Rivera, Brian Kelleher. Brother, I mean, it's not a bad resume of dudes to have fought, man. You're incredibly credentialed right here. He's training out in Vegas. Osbourne is given this matchup right here because I do think that this is the classic UFC tale of the tape of just saying, hey, listen, man, you want to keep that spot? You're going to have to fight the new guy who's looking to take your spot right here. So if we like it for Rodriguez, given that it is a consensus pick here in the flyweight division, we now need to just ask ourselves, man, what's the price tag that you're willing to pay? Since you mentioned this is a winnable fight for Osbourne, he opened up Rodriguez minus 165. You know where he's sitting right now, AJ? Minus 140. That line shrunk. All right, you got a good read, my friend. You got a good read. But is that price a price that you're willing to pay now that it's going down? Because that should give just a slight jolt of concern. What do you think?
Absolutely. It gives a slight jolt of concern, Derek. I do think this is one of the more stylistically winnable fights for Ode Osbourne going into this one. And I'd watch that line a little closely. I wouldn't put money on it right now, right then and there. I'd watch that line as it gets a little closer, see how things shift. Because if this gets down to like a pick 'em, right, minus 110 a piece, you feel a little more comfortable going into that. But at the same point, I wouldn't put the same amount of money if you're thinking like a minus 180 for Rodriguez right here. I think this is a pretty close fight. How it's going to go down, I'm looking at those props though, Derek. I mean, the decision, tell me if I'm crazy, but I don't think we're seeing a decision right here, man. First fight of the main card. I think there's going to be some heat going for it, but the props, man, are kind of crazy. Plus 475 of the size of Rodriguez for the TKO, and then on the opposite, TKO plus 225 for Ode. Seems like the odds makers like a knockout for Ode.
Yeah, that is interesting. That is very, very interesting to think about right there, man. Because same decision prop right here. Of course, submission prop much more in favor of Rodriguez based off of what we just mentioned, all the Osbourne submission losses. Yeah, that's an interesting play right there, man. He can hit him, bro. I mean, listen, bro, if there's one thing I believe in, it's Rodriguez's power, for sure. You know what I mean? The only thing that concerns me is, yeah, plus 225 TKO for Ode, man. Like, if he can catch him while he's winding up for the big shot, man. Rodriguez ate shots against Dennis Bondar, man. He ate a spinning elbow to the jaw and was like, yeah, more. And that's the type of guy that I love. But on the other hand, I'm like, bro, you can't. Your chin would just auto shut you off after a while, bro. You know, you can't do that forever. Damn, I'm not going to second guess myself. Ronaldo Rodriguez is my pick here, AJ. And if you're asking me, hey, what's a viable prop to take right here? I'm going to go against the grain. Give me the plus 300. Here's the reason why. If Ode Osbourne could kind of scrap up, clinch up a little bit, I think we can see a decision. Here's the reason why. If you look at that fight against Bondar, very end of the second round, that's when he got that choke in. If that's not how the fight played out, I was actually really confident that that fight was going to go to a decision right there. So finishing ability on both ends. Give me the plus 300 Rodriguez decision prop if you're feeling juicy. Otherwise, minus 140. Go ahead and take the money line. I think that's fair. What do you think?
I think the money line's fair, Derek. I'm also going a little contradictory right here, man. I like that plus 375 submission. I do think that's something that can happen to O'Day and has happened to O'Day in the past. Seems like it's right in line for the Rodriguez pick right here. And plus 375, best odds besides the decision. I like this one for the finish.